As the first light of dawn pierced through the lingering Boston mist, the city stirred into life, its heartbeat quickening with each passing moment. In the cozy warmth of Layman Dong on Newbury Street, my day had already unfolded like a well-loved recipe. With careful hands, I rolled out the pie dough, my gaze drifting momentarily to the window, where passers-by seemed to hasten their steps, as if Thanksgiving itself was nipping at their heels. "Mom, I did it." The voice, tender yet triumphant, pulled me from my reverie. Turning, I beheld my son Lucas, his face alight with pride, showcasing a cupcake crowned with intricate decorations that seemed to defy his tender age of 8. "That's wonderful, Lucas," I exclaimed, a smile spreading across my face as I gently ruffled his hair. These Saturday mornings, where the scent of baking mingled with laughter, had become our sacred time, a ritual of bonding amidst the flour and sugar. My husband William had departed early, his responsibilities as sales director at Turner Enterprises, pulling him even on weekends, his work recognizing no holiday. His dedication brought a significant portion of the company's revenue, a testament to his relentless pursuit. "Rachel, today's croissants are absolutely perfect." Jennifer, one of our cherished staff members, burst into the kitchen, her voice bubbling with excitement. More than half of our morning's batch had vanished within an hour of opening. The recent spotlight from the Boston Globe's notable bakeries section had ushered in a flood of eager customers, their numbers swelling with each dawn. We were all joyfully overwhelmed by the serpentine lines forming outside our doors. For me, who had grown up under the watchful eyes of a single mother in Boston's struggling South End, this success was nothing short of a dream. From a scholarship to pastry school, to honing my craft at a luxury hotel, and now to the fulfillment of owning my own bakery. Each step had been a battle fought with passion and perseverance. When Lucas returned from school, he would make a beeline for the kitchen, his sanctuary, where he would tackle homework and occasionally lend his small hands to the baking, a scene of continuity and hope. At the parent-teacher conference, Lucas, with a sparkle in his eyes, boldly declared during his Future Dreams presentation that his heart's desire was to become a pastry chef just like his mother. His teacher, moved by his choice, praised him not only for his ambition, but also for his compassionate nature that seemed to weave the class together in harmony. Meanwhile, William was riding a wave of success at work. He had just closed a monumental real estate deal, a coup that promised to catapult the company toward its yearly sales targets. His prowess in steering his team while simultaneously hunting for new ventures was celebrated far and wide, a testament to his leadership and foresight. Yet not all hearts swelled with pride at our achievements. Marrying someone of her status, "It's a disgrace to our family." The venomous words of my mother-in-law, Patricia, still echo in my mind from the day William announced our union. For her, the CEO of Turner Enterprises, a cornerstone of Boston's elite, to marry someone from a less privileged background was an affront. Though she graced our wedding with her presence, her disdain for our union never waned. Even with Lucas's arrival, her heart remained cold. At society gatherings, she would often pretend we were invisible, casting an uncomfortable pall over those around us. Her antagonism had only intensified recently. At Lucas's birthday celebration last month, she chose not to appear despite the invitation sent with hope. When Lucas by chance encountered his grandmother, her words cut deep. "Expensive presents don't suit a child with a mother from the slums." The memory of my son's crestfallen expression haunts me still. Now, as Thanksgiving approaches, the annual Turner family gathering looms on the horizon, bringing with it the usual undercurrents of tension. "You don't have to go," William said, his voice laced with concern. But I shook my head, determination setting in. At the dinner table, Lucas, with hope lighting his young eyes, expressed his wish, "I want to get along with Grandma." As we ventured forth into the crisp Thanksgiving morning, the cold wind whipped through the Chestnut Hill neighborhood, where the holiday spirit was already in full swing. The streets were alive with well-dressed individuals, their footsteps echoing a festive urgency as they navigated past the decorations, falling leaves swirling in the air, maple trees ablaze with the deep red of autumn. Amidst this vibrant setting, I had been toiling since dawn over an apple pie. Not just any pie, but a masterpiece that reflected not only my respect for my mother-in-law, but also my own professional pride, which demanded that I never show up empty-handed. "Mom, is my tie straight?" Lucas's voice, tinged with nervous anticipation, broke through my thoughts. I glanced in the rearview mirror to see him adjusting his collar, his new navy suit with the light blue tie I had selected for this special occasion. A silver pin glinted in his small breast pocket, the final touch of elegance. Perfect, I reassured him, catching the complex blend of tension and excitement in his young eyes. Beside me, William's profile was unusually rigid, his hands gripping the steering wheel with a tension that spoke volumes of the day's significance. Upon our arrival at the Turner Mansion, the sight of luxury vehicles, Bentley, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, all gleaming under the winter sun, set the stage for what was to be a grand celebration. The Victorian mansion itself seemed aglow with a special brilliance, its red brick facade, elegant arched windows, and the meticulously groomed front garden, all whispering tales of the Turner family's storied history and influence. Stepping inside, we were enveloped by the warm embrace of the mansion's atmosphere. The savory scent of roasting turkey filled the air, and the spacious hall aglow with sparkling chandeliers was already bustling with relatives. The women in their designer dresses, the men in tailored suits created a tapestry of sophistication that made my boutique blouse feel somewhat out of place. Yet the warmth of the greeting from my father-in-law, Robert, melted any sense of unease. His mild-mannered nature always placed family harmony above all else, his voice a soothing balm on this day of celebration. Robert, in his distinguished gray suit, embodied both the dignity of his position as chairman and the warmth of his character. As he gently patted his grandson Lucas on the head, he murmured, "Lucas, how you've grown so tall." The relatives around them couldn't help but beam at this tender moment, their smiles as natural as the autumn leaves. Lucas, surrounded by his lively cousins, felt his earlier tension melt away his face, softening into a smile of relief and joy. The scene was set with an air of timeless elegance. Maids in their crisp uniforms moved with a grace that spoke of generations of service, setting out the silverware, each piece heavy with history, each pattern a delicate whisper of the past. The white china adorned with intricate designs and the crystal glasses sparkled under the gentle flicker of pure white candles in their antique holders. In the heart of this tableau, a magnificent turkey, its skin a perfect golden brown, reigned supreme, encircled by the traditional Thanksgiving fare. Cranberry sauce, a mound of fluffy mashed potatoes, the green bean casserole, and a rich sweet potato gratin. Nearby, the dessert card proudly announced the offerings: apple pie, its lattice crust a work of art alongside the classic pumpkin and pecan pies. "Dear ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats," announced James the butler, his voice resonant with formality. Around the expansive dining table, about 20 family members assembled: Turner cousins, their families, aunts, uncles, and even those distant relatives who usually led separate lives, all drawn together for this special day. Then the distinct click of high heels on the staircase heralded the entrance of Patricia, resplendent in an emerald green dress, her neck adorned with diamonds that caught the light like stars. Her smile was impeccable, yet beneath it something seemed amiss. "Rachel, what a lovely blouse," she said, her voice dripping with a sweetness that didn't quite reach her eyes. I merely acknowledged her with a slight nod, well versed in recognizing the subtle sting of her sarcasm after all these years. The maids paused momentarily, their attention caught by the unfolding drama as family members settled into their designated places. Robert and Patricia, at the head with the elders flanking them, set the stage for a gathering that promised both warmth and undercurrents of tension. As we approached our seats in the middle, I noticed Lucas's place was next to mine, but my heart sank at the sight that awaited us. Instead of a gleaming silver service plate, there sat a crude stainless steel food bowl filled with unappetizing brown kibble. The rim was mockingly engraved with the word puppy. The room fell into a heavy silence, punctuated only by the gasps of our relatives. An uncle coughed uncomfortably, a cousin let out a stifled scream, while an elderly aunt turned her face away, unable to look. A younger cousin stared at the floor, his eyes wide with disbelief. Lucas's hand clutched my sleeve, his small fingers trembling. "What is the meaning of this?" William's voice quivered with a mix of anger and hurt, his eyes aflame with indignation. Then Patricia's icy voice cut through the tension, her glass raised in a toast of mockery. "Why would a child of slum-raised parents need fine dining?" She drawled with a thin, calculated smile, each word a deliberate insult. The table froze. Robert erupted into violent coughs, and a maid in her shock let a glass slip from her grasp. shattering it into 1,000 pieces on the floor. Lucas's small lips quivered as his young eyes, wide with confusion and pain, fought to keep tears at bay. Watching him, something within me shifted, hardened into resolve. I stood up slowly, the only sound the creaking of my chair against the polished floor. The chandelier above cast long, ominous shadows across the table. I took Lucas's cold, small hand in mine, squeezing it with reassurance, and felt a slight squeeze in return. Without a word, we turned our backs on the scene, leaving behind the echoes of our footsteps on the marble floor. As we walked to the entrance, the cold night air brushed our cheeks. I helped Lucas into the back seat of the car, his trust in me more palpable than ever, his need for protection now a stark reality. As we hastily escaped the cacophony of the house, voices clashing like cymbals in a discordant orchestra, the critical tones of relatives slicing through the air, and Robert's booming shouts, none of them followed us. Not a soul made a move to halt our retreat as we slipped into the back seat of the car. Lucas quivered slightly beside me, his body betraying the turmoil within. Through the windshield, I gazed back at the opulent mansion, now a fortress of judgment. Faces obscured by the delicate lace curtains of the second-floor windows peered down at us with a mix of curiosity and condemnation. The only sound was the car's engine, its hum a stark contrast to the Thanksgiving silence that enveloped us on our journey home. No words were exchanged, just the persistent drone of the motor slicing through the crisp, cold night air. Lucas, still shivering, his reflection in the window, was a portrait of weariness under the dim streetlights. Back in the sanctuary of our home, the warmth did little to dispel the chill of humiliation that clung to us like a second skin. The living room, usually a beacon of comfort tonight, cast eerie shadows as if the very light conspired to remind us of our ordeal. "Let's get you in the bath," I murmured, my arm wrapping gently around Lucas's slumped shoulders. He nodded, his silence more profound than any words could express. As I helped him out of his new suit, I felt the tremors that ran through him. The fabric that was meant to celebrate now seemed to mock the ordeal he had just endured. Why must cruelty touch the innocent, I pondered, as the bathroom filled with soothing steam. Washing his back, I noted his usual timidity had morphed into a heavy, oppressive silence that gripped my heart with icy fingers. Upon returning from the bathroom, Lucas seemed to have gathered some of his spirit back, now in his pajamas sitting on the bed. I knelt in front of him, drying his hair with care, watching his face for any sign of recovery. "I'm sorry, Mom," Lucas whispered, his voice barely audible, yet it pierced my heart with a poignant sharpness. I held him close, my voice firm yet tender. "You've done nothing wrong." His small frame trembled, tears erupting like a storm, releasing the pent-up torrent of emotions he had been holding back. His warm tears drenched my shirt as he sobbed, "I just wanted to get along with Grandma." My hand moved in soothing circles on his back, though words of comfort eluded me. His heart, beating against mine, seemed to find solace in our embrace, gradually quietening. "Your pastries are the best, Mom." He managed through his tears, his words a balm to my aching heart. Smiling softly, I sat beside him, the familiar pages of his bedtime story opening before us. Exhaustion claimed him swiftly, his breathing evening, out into the peaceful rhythm of sleep, though traces of tears lingered on his cheeks. I kissed his forehead, a silent promise of protection, and as I turned to leave, his small voice murmured, "Mom." My fist clenched with a fierce determination. I would shield this child from all harm. Stepping into the living room, I found William, his gaze fixed on his phone, an unfamiliar fury contorting his features. He was a storm of anger, unlike the calm man I knew. "I will never forgive that woman." He growled, his voice low and trembling, his fist clenched so tight his knuckles whitened. The coffee table was a chaotic spread of company documents, evidence of his distress. William, standing abruptly, dialed his mother's number. I did not intervene. This confrontation was long overdue. The dial tone pierced the silence, and when Patricia's voice came through, it was laced with the usual arrogance, offering excuses or defiance. "You thought it was a joke," I whispered to myself, the cruelty of dismissing the pain inflicted upon an innocent child too much to bear. How could she? William's voice escalated, booming with a fervor that made the veins in his neck pulse with palpable anger. "Listen carefully," he thundered. "This ends our family relationship today, and I'm quitting the company tomorrow. You won't control us anymore." Patricia's response was fraught with distress, But William, his hands still trembling with emotion, hung up the phone with a decisive click. With a deep, weary sigh, he turned to face me, his eyes alight with determination, yet shadowed by fatigue. "I'm sorry, Rachel, for dragging you and our son into this turmoil. You've done nothing wrong," he murmured, echoing the words he had just spoken to our son, now directed at me. As I reached for his hand, he squeezed back with a firm grip, a silent pledge of solidarity. That night, William made call after call, his voice a mix of urgency and resolve. He first reached out to his trusted subordinates. To his surprise, many were ready to join him, having long harbored their own grievances against Patricia's despotic rule. "Mr. William, I'm with you," declared Tom Watson, a stalwart from the sales department, his voice firm with loyalty. "I'll resign too. Let's work together at the new company," young Sarah Chen added without a moment's hesitation. As the night unfolded, their encouraging words brought a softening to William's stern expression. Confidential discussions with key clients followed despite the late hour. Many who had long trusted William's prowess in sales expressed enthusiasm for future collaborations with his new venture. "We definitely want to continue working with you after your independence," affirmed the CEO of Johnson Group, Boston's premier developer, igniting a flame of hope within us. As the night deepened, the path to independence grew clearer, step by determined step. By morning, the headquarters of Turner Enterprises was abuzz with the news of William's resignation. In its wake, a cascade of resignations followed as excellent employees, long suffocated by Patricia's discriminatory practices, chose to forge a new path with William. At this alarming rate, William's new venture, William Turner Associates, was on the brink of causing the sales department's downfall. "Join William's new company or watch the sales department crumble," came a desperate cry from the human resources team. Clients were clamoring to review their contracts, and the finance department had raised red flags. Patricia's outrageous antics had begun to unravel the very fabric of the company. In a few short days, however, the groundwork for establishing the new enterprise was steadily advancing. An office space prime in Boston's financial district had been secured. Funding was also in place thanks to the robust network of investors that Williams had cultivated. Through countless meetings with law firms setting up IT systems and the tireless construction of the new organizational structure, William Turner Associates began to materialize. Yet on a serene morning, an unforeseen guest arrived. "Open up, Rachel." Instead of the usual intercom buzz, the sound of someone pounding directly on the door resonated through the house. Patricia's distraught voice echoed her shouting, reaching the neighbors. Through a sliver in the curtains, I glimpsed a luxury car haphazardly parked at the curb. With a gentle touch, I opened the door to find Patricia, her appearance markedly changed. "Why did you seduce my son and tear our family apart?" she demanded, her designer suit askew, her makeup a smeared testament to her distress. She brandished her luxury handbag wildly, her face a canvas of rage and sorrow. The facade of the social elite in Turner Enterprises' CEO had utterly dissolved. "Think carefully about who truly shattered this family," I responded with a calm yet resolute tone. Just then we heard movement upstairs. Lucas must have stirred. "You treated your own grandson like a dog. Is that how family behaves?" Silence fell heavy and profound. "I won't listen to words from someone of your ilk," she spat out. Then William's voice cut through the tension. "That's enough, Mother," he declared, stepping forward to shield me. His figure, straight-backed and dignified, stood as a bulwark. "Leave and don't ever," with unwavering determination in his voice, he pleaded, "show yourself to us again." Patricia gazed at her son, a flicker of regret shimmering in her eyes like a distant star, before being swiftly concealed by the cold mask of arrogance. "I have my pride too," she whispered, her voice quivering, before she turned sharply away. We watched in silence as she retreated into her luxury car. Her once regal posture now diminished, the closing of the car door, sounding like a soft declaration of a new dawn. As she drove away, Lucas descended from upstairs, his small hands enveloping ours, infusing us with a fresh surge of hope for the future that lay ahead. The corridors of Turner Enterprises, once vibrant with life, now echoed with a palpable sense of loss. A week after William's departure, an eerie quiet had settled over the company, the usual buzz of activity replaced by a heavy, oppressive silence. "Over half of our major clients have requested contract reviews this quarter," announced Mr. Gray, the finance director, his voice trembling with the gravity of the news. He stood before a thick report, its pages thick with dire figures. Sales forecasts are down 40% from last year. He continued the stark numbers, painting a grim picture of the company's plight. The real estate development division, once a beacon of growth, was now faltering with new project orders nearly at a standstill. The turnover rate in the sales department has exceeded 70%, reported human resources with somber tones. Most of the remaining employees are actively seeking new opportunities, and recent graduates are turning down our offers. Our staffing plan for next year has completely collapsed. Following Williams' exit, the exodus of talent, especially the young and promising, had severely depleted the company's future prospects. Patricia attempted to assert herself in her usual domineering fashion, but her voice, once commanding, now lacked its former potency. Her arguments falling on ears deafened by the company's dire straits. The once vibrant and assertive CEO, Patricia, now appeared, drained, her fatigue seeping through the carefully applied layers of makeup. The boardroom, usually a place of routine and order, was suddenly charged with an electric tension. Institutional investors had formally demanded an emergency shareholders meeting, sending shockwaves through the corporate hierarchy. The legal director, with a grave tone, announced the agenda, which included a radical management restructuring, causing a collective gasp among the board members. The pressure from major shareholders was mounting like a storm, each day more intense than the last. The company's stock price had not just dipped, but plummeted, setting new records for all-time lows. In just 1 week, market capitalization had shriveled by 30%. Then, as if on cue, the conference room door swung open with a crash. "What is the meaning of this?" Robert bellowed, storming in with a newspaper in hand. The front page screamed with accusations. Turner Enterprises CEO suspected of misappropriating company assets. The Boston Globe's detailed exposé stretched over 3 pages, laying bare Patricia's misdeeds. She had indulged in luxury, using the company's private jet for personal shopping sprees, costing the company nearly $500,000 each year. The $2 million renovation of her Chestnut Hill home, all charged as business expenses. But it was not just financial impropriety. The report detailed her discriminatory practices, opaque promotion standards, the harassment of female employees, and the deliberate demotion of non-white staff. Her dealings with business partners were equally tarnished, marked by her overbearing attitude, unreasonable price slashes, and deliberate payment delays, actions that flew in the face of business ethics. Whistleblowers had come forward, their evidence compelling. The SEC had already reached out, signaling an impending investigation. Employees long silenced by fear were now vocal, their testimonies flooding an anonymous hotline. Patricia's once authoritative voice now rang hollow, her designer suit no longer a symbol of power. Robert's voice cut through the tense silence like a knife. "Patricia, you will step down as CEO." The air in the room seemed to freeze, waiting for her response. The conference room plunged into a silence so deep it seemed to echo with the weight of unspoken decisions. "No more than that, you'll leave management entirely?" Robert's voice boomed, a stark contrast to his usual mild demeanor. "Enough is enough. We cannot permit further damage to our company's reputation." His eyes filled with years of regret, and a newfound determination locked onto Patricia. "Clear out your office immediately." As the security staff stood by Patricia, once a towering figure in the company now appeared as a weary, middle-aged woman. Her hands shook slightly as she packed her possessions into her luxurious Birkin bag, each item a remnant of her past authority. The following morning, an emergency meeting was convened at Turner Enterprises headquarters. The grand hall buzzed with a palpable mix of anxiety and anticipation. Robert, taking the stage, declared, with a voice that resonated through the silence, "Effective immediately, I am assuming full authority. We are poised to completely overhaul our discriminatory management practices and establish a new system where fairness in employee evaluation is paramount." He outlined the immediate actions, transparency and promotion criteria, a thorough review of the compensation system, and the formation of a diversity promotion committee. A soft applause began to ripple through the crowd, and Robert paused, inhaling deeply. "I want to offer a sincere apology to my son William. My oversight has inflicted deep wounds on him and his family." His words stirred a quiet murmur in the hall, signaling to many the dawn of genuine transformation within the company. The market responded with optimism to these announcements. The stock price, previously languishing, began to recover, climbing by about 15% from its lowest point. Even estranged business partners started reaching out, eager to mend bridges. In particular, the rapid development of new internal systems was underway, promising a complete revision of discriminatory personnel evaluations and an enhancement in childcare and nursing facilities. Could this be the rebirth of Turner Enterprises? In the vibrant world of real estate, the buzz was palpable. Industry publications were abuzz with the news of care support systems and the active promotion of minority hiring initiatives that were shaking the foundations of traditional corporate culture. Meanwhile, William Turner Associates was off to an electrifying start. Just 1 month after its inception, they had already clinched several monumental projects. We've officially signed the large development project with Johnson Group. Tom Watson, once William's subordinate and now his indispensable right-hand man, announced with eyes gleaming with an unprecedented fervor. This waterfront development project in Boston was not just a contract. It was a beacon attracting the eyes of the industry. The office of the new company buzzed with energy. Talented personnel who had made the leap from Turner Enterprises were now thriving in their new dynamic environment. The growth of these young employees was nothing short of remarkable, continuously sparking innovative ideas in their liberated atmosphere. Industry papers sang praises of Williams' independence, heralding it as a fresh breeze sweeping through the real estate sector. His management philosophy, with its strong emphasis on employee diversity, was not just noted, but celebrated. His name echoed through the industry corridors as the herald of a new era in real estate development. Then one day an email pierced through the excitement. "I feel terrible as your father. If possible, I'd like to talk about the company and, more importantly, about family," wrote Robert. His words were heavy with a father's earnest plea to end the silence. An attached newspaper article hinted at the potential for collaboration between their companies. William spent a long time contemplating his reply. The hatred and anger that once festered had dissolved, leaving only a desire to forge a new connection. Finally, he penned a simple message: "Are you free Sunday afternoon? Lucas wants to see you too." This small gesture was a significant step, marking the commencement of a new dialogue. The beginning of a slow, tender healing for a family deeply wounded by past conflicts. Outside, Boston's winter sun cast a gentle light upon the city, as if blessing this new chapter with its soft glow. Oh, the dawn of a new era in Boston. The streets were adorned in the festive garb of Christmas a month after the Thanksgiving incident, their cold winds whispering through the illuminated trees that line Newbury Street, alive with the hustle and bustle of holiday shoppers. Inside Lumen's own Dow, the atmosphere was even more electric than usual. Long lines snaked through the shop for Christmas season specialties like Stalin and Bouche de Noël. "Mom, you're in the newspaper again," Margaret Lucas exclaimed, bursting with excitement from the back of the shop. My store had been spotlighted in the Boston Globe as the year's most notable bakery. The article sang praises of our innovative twists on traditional recipes and the cozy, inviting ambiance that enveloped customers. Meanwhile, in the affluent enclave of Chestnut Hill, a moving truck pulled away with a quiet finality. Patricia, once a queen in the high society, was forced to vacate the mansion that had been her home for decades. Her dramatic fall from grace following her resignation as CEO and subsequent social exile left her with few friends who now pretended she didn't exist. Her new abode was a modest room in an old Back Bay apartment where she had to part with most of her luxurious belongings, keeping only mementos that looked out onto a world that now seemed so small and distant. At Turner Enterprises, the winds of change were blowing with vigor under Robert's direct leadership. Corporate culture was being reshaped, with discriminatory practices eradicated and replaced by an evaluation system that valued merit and diversity. Then one day, Robert's proposal to Williams sent ripples of anticipation through the industry. Could you imagine a merger that would unite father and son to forge a real estate development company for a new era? This wasn't merely a business amalgamation. It was a testament to their resolve to overcome. Turner and Turner Associates, the name itself, was a bold declaration of their new beginning. In the serene tranquility of a Sunday morning, our family gathered for brunch, basking in the warmth of unity. Lucas, with the boundless enthusiasm of youth, regaled his grandfather Robert with tales of his baking adventures, his smile radiant as the dawn seemed to erase the shadows of Thanksgiving night. "Next, I'm going to make a cake for Grandpa." He declared his voice a melody of joy, causing tears to well in Robert's eyes, a silent testament to the profound connection they shared. Our journey through past conflicts had not only brought us here, but had also deepened the roots of our relationships. William's unwavering decisiveness and compassionate heart during our darkest times had forged an unbreakable bond between us. Yet amidst this newfound closeness, my thoughts often wandered to Patricia, alone in her Back Bay apartment. Imagine her sitting by the window on festive afternoons, the city ablaze with Christmas lights and expensive wine glass in hand, silently contemplating the days of her former glory, watching the world move on without her. As we stand on the threshold of a new beginning, I am filled with gratitude for each moment, each lesson learned, and each heart touched. Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us on this poignant journey. Please share your thoughts, leave a comment, give a like, or subscribe to our channel to continue this voyage of discovery and connection together. Let's celebrate the past, embrace the present, and step confidently into the future, hand in hand.